G'day everyone, Scott here from Dr. Greenthumbs. Today we're going to show you how to care for your plants during winter using some of our most popular products. So a lot of our customers get super confused when it comes to fertilizing and caring for their plants in the winter. So what we're going to start with today is our Root Roids line and just explain the full benefits of using these even throughout the dormant period during winter. Now a lot of our customers have been wondering what's the difference between the granule product and the original powdered product. So today I thought I'd just quickly run you through it. Now the biggest difference with our granule product is how you're going to apply it to your plants. As you can see, it's a very free-flowing granule which can simply just be spread around the base of the plant and then watered in. So we're going to take our cyclamen here, we're just going to evenly spread it around the base of the plant, just like so. Now what we've done during that process is basically inoculate the roots with thousands and thousands of mycorrhizal fungus. Now these mycorrhizal fungus are going to grow on the plant's roots and basically help it uptake water and nutrients, but also fight off disease and pests like root rot during this cold, dormant season. Now our Root Roids granules can be added to any fertilizer mix super easily and then added into your soil that way. Or if you'd like to inoculate your lawn, fruit trees or other plants in your yard, you can simply broadcast it out onto your lawn, fruit trees or other plants in any setting quite easily. Now the main difference when applying the powdered Root Roids is just a little bit of planning. Obviously the granules you can put out whenever you want and water in at a later date, but with the powder you do need to basically be watering your plant that day to use it. All those beneficial bacteria are going to work in that root zone and fight off any pathogens and root rots during the colder months, basically caused from overwatering or overfeeding your plants. What you want to do is wait till your plant is basically half dry, so the soil's still a little bit moist but not completely dried out yet. Now applying our powder is super easy. All you want to do is take half a scoop to 1 scoop per litre of water. Now here I've got 1.5 litres of water, so what I'm going to do is roughly 1 full scoop and just tip it straight in there. Just like that. Now you can already see it starting to dissolve. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Basically fully dissolved. Now the reason I say you don't want your plants to fully dry out before you water is just so you don't lose it out the bottom of the pot. Now that's literally all you need. Maybe that plant had 50 ml of the Root Roids, but that's going to inoculate those roots with all those beneficial bacteria and reap all those benefits. Now one of the biggest benefits to using Root Roids during winter is all those beneficial bacteria will actually solubilize and unlock a lot of the nutrients that are in the soil already that the plant doesn't have access to. Now this takes a lot of the guesswork out in winter because a lot of people don't want to water in with a high strength fertilizer. So ultimately you can just save money by using Root Roids and accessing the existing nutrients in the soil. Now for customers who aren't experiencing such a cold wet winter like we are here in Wollongong, what I'd suggest to fertilise with is our ocean grown fish hydrolysate. Now the nitrogen in this product is largely made up of amino acids which the plant can use as the building blocks to basically all its processes in regards to growing and staying healthy. And just for those wondering at home, ocean grown can be safely added into your Root Roids solution and fed to your plants. So what we're going to do now is revive our old garden bed. Now this garden bed, a lot of you might remember from our old shop. It's been sitting out the front, it had a whole heap of random plants in it over the year, but recently it had a big crop of chilies that performed very well. What happened, like most of Australia, our season got cut off very short with all the rain, and this guy basically just got torrential rain for a good 4 to 5 months. So what that means is a lot of the nutrients have been washed out and need to be replaced. Now what happened after that was we got basically a month of 100-kilometre winds. So then it's basically been dry ever since. But as you can see, it's definitely worth working on. There's a lot of moisture and a lot of life down in that soil. So that's what we're going to work on today and get it up to scratch to plant again. So as you can see, we've got a really nice structure to this soil. It's got a lot of different aspects to it, of perlite, compost, there's some coca coir chips, that's a bit of zeolite there as well. So there's really not much we have to add in terms of that. What I'm worried about for this bed is the nutrient content, which has all been washed out in that rain. So the first thing in this scenario I like to add is some glacial rock dust. Now the glacial rock dust is exclusive to Dr. Greenthumbs. We've actually imported this ourselves direct from the USA. Now glacial rock dust is a little bit different to say volcanic rock dust. We actually didn't have a glacial period within Australia. So this product is completely unique when it comes to a rock dust and the set of minerals that it has. A little goes a long way too. So all we're gonna do for this bed is we're gonna do 1 full handful or 2 half handfuls. So that's what I call a half handful. And what we're gonna do is just spread that across one side of the bed. And we're just gonna do that again over here. You just wanna make sure you get a good handful in there and just spread it around evenly on the soil like that. Look at that, the structure just falls apart, beautiful. What we wanna do now is just add a little bit of our alfalfa meal. Now alfalfa meal is actually a really balanced additive to add to your soil. Not only is its carbon to nitrogen ratio basically 1-to-1, meaning it'll break down super fast, it also contains an absolute array of different growth hormones, such as treacontanol that you can use to put into your soil for great plant growth. Now you really don't want to breathe this stuff in, guys. It's a bit hard on the video to avoid it, but wear a mask with this stuff. It's full of bacteria, namely Bacillus, the hay bacteria. What we want to do with this product is probably 2 full handfuls this time. Just be careful not to breathe it in. Look how fine that dust is. Now it's really good that it's so fine, because what that'll do is basically break down in the soil really, really quickly. So that's going to break down, give us those nutrients, and also leave us with that organic matter for microbe food and worm food. Okay, so once again, we're just gonna give it a little work into the top of the soil, just so we know we've got it in there nice and even. Gonna use a little dusting of dolomite lime, just to help raise the pH a little bit. So, now this is gonna be very, very light. We're talking 1/4 of a handful just across the whole bed. Hey, that's very interesting. So, what just fell out of this big bit of soil, this big soil clump, zeolite. So zeolite looks like a solid rock, but inside that are millions and millions of pores. It's basically like a big sponge. And that was basically sitting right in the middle of this soil clump. Look, there's more. Right in around this, boom, there's that zeolite. Basically providing the nutrients, providing the water, and providing the oxygen for all that life. Pretty cool. I'm glad we pulled that out and got to show you what I see. Oh, fair dinkum. There again. Look, zeolite is amazing stuff, guys. Big clumps of soil structure, all that bacteria, all that fungus is all wrapped around these zeolites. If you saw my original videos, we included zeolite in those as well. We recommended you add them into your hydroponic medias, so that's just proof of exactly why we said that and why we continue to say that and basically buy so much zeolite. Okay, so next up, what we're wanting to add is our microbiology. So you don't have to be super fancy with this. You can use a regular compost or worm castings. What I'm going to use today is our ocean grown composted fish and sea urchin. It's got over 600,000 active colony forming units of fungi and bacteria per gram. That's heaps, that's so many. You won't find a product any finer than that when it comes to a compost. The producer of this does a fantastic job. So what we're going to do is just 2 solid handfuls across this bed, which is 90 centimeters, by the way. I don't think I've said that. So there's our first handful. We'll do our second handful, so many minerals in that. Completely composted fish and sea urchin. It's absolutely amazing stuff. It's as simple as that, guys. Now this is that fine that if you wanted to grab, say, a handful like that, add it to a 9-litre watering can and just water it in, it would come out the spout. So our next inoculant we're going to use today is insect frass. Now, insect frass is literally the poo from a black soldier fly. It's not very glamorous, it doesn't necessarily smell too great in a large quantity, but works absolutely fantastic. Now, this product here has over 250,000 active colony forming units per gram. Not as potent as our fish compost, but absolutely great, and a separate set of microbes again to really help. Now, it does take a little bit of getting used to the smell of this product, but you really don't need a heap. So once it's inoculated on the bed, it's not actually going to leave too much of a foul smell. Now, for this size bed, what we're going to do is 3 or 4, 3-4 finger pinches. So only about that much, really not much at all. And then we just want to spread that over the bed like this. So for example, if we use 10 grams on this bed, would be inoculating over 2.5 million different bacteria and fungus. Now, the 10-litre bag of this will last you forever. So if you've got a couple of mates who are keen, what I'll do is I'll jump in with them. $45 for 10 litres. It's the cheapest frass you'll find in Australia. Once you get over the smell side of things, you'll be absolutely fine using it. And now it's sealed up and I've only used that much, that smell is going to dissipate very, very quickly. So basically what we've just done is use 2 separate microbial inoculants in the form of composts and just added billions, quite literally billions of beneficial fungus and bacteria to that soil. And what they're going to do is recycle all these nutrients and fight off pests and disease. I'm happy for most of my customers just to stop there when it comes to redoing their soil. We're not planning into this straight away. What our objective is to wake up the soil after it's been smashed for 6 months with the floods down here, and then basically we couldn't get water to hold in it with all that wind. So most people now would just go and add their mulch layer. We're a little bit lucky. We've recently hooked up with a guy called Michael, who grows mushrooms for a living. He's just started a brand new grow over at the timber mill in Wollongong. So what we're gonna top off this with an old mushroom block. Now, this isn't something you're all gonna have access to. I absolutely understand that. But the stuff that this does when we add it to the soil and our turbo dirt mix is absolutely phenomenal. Now, it's a mix of hardwood and soy meal, so we do get an element of nitrogen out of it as well. But all this microbiology we've just inoculated is basically going to feed off this microbiology too, a little bit cannibalistic. And we put all this down and it lays the path for all our soil microbes to come, to feed on them, to digest the leftover nutrients that the mushrooms haven't, and basically put it straight to work. So once we've laid that out, bring in our mulch, which in this case is hemp mulch. So it's basically an industrial hemp crop that's been de-leafed. They've got the fibre off the outside, and this is the herd. So it's a really, really good product to top dress with. It does get a little bit pricey. Production of hemp's picking up, so we'll be able to get it a lot easier, hopefully soon. But all we're going to do is evenly cover that, just to give all those microbes we've just put down there in the compost and that old mushroom block, a chance just to stay directly out of the light. Now, one last thing is we just want to water this in. So what I like to water the beds in with is an ocean grown kelp solution. Very weak, we just do 2 ml per litre and then 2 ml per litre of our fish liquid as well. So once you do that, just simply come over the bed like this. I like to sort of do it like you're maybe mopping the floor, try and keep some sort of rhythm and reason about it. Give this another pump. And we want to get about 3 or 4 litres out at the moment, so it won't take long. All right, almost there. Okay, now once we put our 4 litres of the ocean grown kelp and fish down, we are done for the next 2 to 4 weeks. Now, To be honest, I'd probably plan into this in 1 to 2 weeks, but because it's a bit of a project and we're trying to video it all, we are going to leave it roughly 3 to 4 weeks. We're going to let all this break down. We'll come back and we'll document it and show you sort of how this top layer all reacts in the next couple of weeks. And then we're going to plant into it some late winter greens, probably just to try and get some organic matter sort of back into the bed. We're going to chop and drop it all. And then put out a poll heading up for spring, what you want to see us grow in an indoor garden bed. So thanks everyone for watching and see you next time.